Me again.
All right, looks like we are. All right, folks, we are live. All right, welcome back, everyone. Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, first day back for House Government Operations and Military Affairs. So we're gonna take a few minutes right now just to chit chat a little bit about these priorities. And, we got our first agenda kind of dialed in for the first few days here. But at first, I just wanted to say, did a lot of reflection over the summer. I'm really proud of the work that we did as a team. We moved a lot of heavy work. It was actually reflected today on the floor and down at the House caucuses, where we were speaking to some of the priorities, which we'll get into later. And I was reflecting back on that big lift that we did with the Bennington one thing right out of the gate. And I was like, wow, thank God we don't have to do something like that. So no, I just wanted to say, I'm really looking forward to the work that we're going to do. We're going to have some heavy work in front of us. But I know and trust that all of us will be diligent in making sure we can put out the strongest policy and the best product we can. With that, I just want to hand off to Lisa for a moment.
Yeah, you're welcome. I too think we did a lot of great work last year. We had a lot of challenging times, but we came through it and we came through it stronger, and we're all ready to work together this year. It's going to be a great year. It's going to go by really fast. Some of the priorities that we've already been made aware of course, we're working on our reports repeal, which will be in another 10 minutes. We'll be hearing from Tucker. It would be great to wrap that up. We would probably be the first GovOps committee in several years to have wrapped that up. I'm also personally looking forward to hearing the outcome of that bill about Bennington One with the multi-district town that came to us. So we'll hear more about that from the Secretary of State's office. And there are a couple of reports that were commissioned by us and the legislature that I'm really interested in hearing about, like the EMS Advisory Committee report, for one. Also, the Public Safety Communications report. Those are reports that are directly involving our committee and things that we can do to help Vermont be a better prepared place. So I'm pretty excited to hear about all that. And with that, the only other thing, we got a lot of things on our plate, but one of the other big things is the election of the Adjutant General. So we're going to be hearing from candidates. We're going to be hearing from Ledge Council about why we do this. And it's pretty interesting stuff, and we're unique in the nation. So looking forward to that as well. Shay?
Hi, everybody. I just wanted yes, I think we're pretty dialed in on what our priorities are. I think as far as I just wanted to address the room and our interactions with each other and the way that we talk about things. And I just want to, Lisa and Matt and I did some good talking over the summer and the fall and winter. And I think we all, this is the perfect time for you to disagree with me if you want. We're here to disagree is what I'm saying. Not always, but you know what I mean? We are here to work things out. And part of that process is disagreeing. And I just want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and not only comfortable, but encouraged to participate in discussions. Even if we are not all agreeing with each other, I think our input is all equally valuable in this room, and that we are here to discuss and compromise and also have a good time. So, you know what I mean? If we're miserable all day, we're not going to get anything done either. So I would encourage everybody to participate and use your voices and, of course, raise your hand and wait for the chair to call on you, but then use your voice. And I hope we can just get some good, vibrant, robust discussion going. And, of course, being mindful also that we all work together and have to spend all day together every day. So there's a balance, but I think I think we are all hopeful that you will hear it from everybody multiple times a day as we move through the session. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Representative. No, and if you are getting frustrated, like say something like early, right? Like does working it out sooner than later is always a better committee process. So if you're feeling any aspect of frustration with like anything, subject matter, individual personalities or anything like that, we are totally here to like hear that in a very mindful way. So
Big group hug.
totally.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, bang. And now I just want to open it up to the table, see if anybody has anything that they'd like to share with the group as we start kicking things off. Representative Hooper of Randolph.
Firstly, I'd like to say I appreciate all that.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to say. I'm curious about two things. One, before we left, we sort of said, let's put the AI election stuff on ice because we'll get right back into it when we get back here. That's still true?
I have intention of like looking at that stuff again, because like we said, as it was wrapping up. And that kind of got stalled in the process, right? That sector, that technology moved so fast that we were gonna have to look back at it again when we got back in here, and I'm very true to that intent.
What was our timeline? What is it now?
How do you mean?
Like,
We had one.
I remember the Secretary of State saying like, okay, if you don't pass one this session, the first session of the biennium, we're not really gonna be in a position to like inform the electorate. That probably hasn't changed. Right? So like.
I think we have the deputy secretary coming in shortly. Yeah, so that'd be a wonderful question. Yeah.
The other one, do you wanna guess what I'm gonna ask about?
I have an inkling, but the table is yours, Representative
District
Ward.
map governance, how do we?
I read your
Are we
mind.
gonna, like, I remember just a few minutes, maybe it was like 3.5 minutes ago, you were saying like, you ever feel frustrated, just like, let us know. That I remember feeling pretty frustrated about a lot. And I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try not to operate on that mode only this session, but like. Still kind of wondering what the story is.
We haven't been promised anything yet. So we're really like in the same boat that you are. We don't know what our role is gonna be,
Yeah.
but we'll let you know as soon as we know, right?
Mhm.
We need one out of that room first, I think.
Representative White.
Isn't it on the agenda? Act 70, is that what it is?
No,
No,
that's
that's different.
73.
Okay.
Yeah. 70 is the multi-district town audit.
Yep, okay.
Red Waters Evans.
We don't currently have any maps, right?
Right.
And so I believe that our role would be creating the voting warrants if there were maps, but in the absence of maps, there's nothing that we can do.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, because those maps could look a million different ways. I think
so,
there's hope that there will be maps.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I remember as, I guess, even this week last year, I, among other people, was saying, if we don't get to work on this stuff right now, January of 2025, we are going to be exactly in this position next year. And I am right about that right now.
Mhm.
So, I guess, I think I've said what I'm trying to say, and you've heard me.
Yeah.
Acknowledge
And
your
it-
rightness.
Yeah, and if I may, like,
Yeah, I
we
love it.
understand what like our role and duty.
I'm right.
that- We understand what our job is at a jurisdictional level. But we need this one piece for that to start.
Right.
So-
Like, let's get that piece last year, but let's get it this
No,
year.
we're in a holding pattern until,
I shouldn't say it again.
anyone else?
Just to pile on to that, I said, sorry, stepped out of turn, but I think there's a lot hanging with the education committee right down the hall from us. They've since, whether you agree or disagree with what occurred or transpired since we broke session and what happened since then. I think you probably know where I stand on that, but I don't think we did our collective job done, that's my opinion. But as a result, I think there's a lot of onus on them to put a product out that can be utilize to move forward. I hope they do. That's why I think I'm with you. It has to be, that should be, yeah, number one priority in this building right now.
Rep Hoover, but I also want to be conscious of other members who might want to speak to the other subject matter.
Because I will give you and whoever else credit for a year ago this week complying with our, among other people, you know, our sort of insistence that we do meet as often as possible with as many people as possible. Joint Senate House hearings about maps on a weekly basis. We remember we were sort of like, we want to do it once a month. No, I think we should do it every 2 weeks. If I could have my way, it'd be every Friday. We did that, I think 2 or 3 times, and then we just stopped. And so I guess being again in early January, like this is as strong a footing, I figure, as anybody could campaign for like early and often action on that question again. So let me just you seconded me, right? I'm a third you.
Sort of, but I'll clarify after.
All right, well, we've got 3 more minutes on this before we pivot over to council.
The third on it, I said,
Yeah.
in all honesty, the seriousness is, again, I go back to, I'm not saying it, the onus is entirely on them, but I think there is still quite a bit squarely in their corner because for lack of action, whether again, you agree or disagree with what the committees and the subgroups or whatever you want to call them did or did not do in the off session, there's a lot of burden placed on them right now to be blunt, in my opinion, to do something that would then allow us to have profitable discussions. Because right now, I don't think we could have a profitable discussion. I think that's what the chair and the vice chair were saying about that. Not saying we couldn't be thinking about it, but otherwise we're just second guessing them. But I agree with you up to that point that but we still need something done that wasn't done.
Just
To close.
all right, I'll close. Do you mind if I close?
Oh, means, please.
Hey, listen, we had the same kind of set of like, okay, who's going first? Like, how many different conversations are we having? How often are we having those conversations? Are they going to be parallel? Is it parallel planning that we're doing with the Senate, with the how many House committees? My argument from the beginning, actually 2 Februaries ago, was that we need to put this material in front of as many committees as possible, even ones that are not of jurisdiction, just so that they can familiarize themselves with the extremely complex, layered set of crisis type issues. And there's no single issue in Vermont's economy. Like Vermont's economy is defined by, like, there's no issue that this doesn't touch. So with all due respect, I don't know that I agree that we should be waiting, as I didn't then, for something to come to us. I said, why don't we talk about what we can? Most people agreed with me until all of a sudden nobody wanted to talk about it.
There's something, sure.
That was not as mysterious as it was obviously political. I'm not, impressed with how that went, but like we have an opportunity not to let that happen again. In closing.
All right. And that gets us right to 1:30. Are any other comment from anyone? All right. Council, good to see you, sir.
It's great to be back. Good afternoon, Tucker Anderson, Legislative Counsel for the record. The committee asked me to come in this afternoon and provide some updates on the reports repeal bill process and to update the full committee on what has been happening so far. So to catch you up on the last couple months, I have been sending out surveys and memos to individual committees containing the lists of reports that are due to expire that relate to that committee's jurisdiction. So I saved the most complicated for first, and those were the natural resources and technology, energy committees. The reason being is that the composition and jurisdiction of those committees has changed frequently over the last 6 years, and the reports database wasn't updated quickly enough to match, for example, changing jurisdiction, changing names. So they were the most difficult to compile, but they are done and they are out there. Another important thing to relay to you all is that the background database and system that Legislative Council uses to track reports, the agencies that are supposed to be submitting them, the due dates, and whether or not they are exempt from reports review, changed. And it changed in a way that made some of that information less accessible to me and to Legislative Council generally. And updates are still happening to bring us back to where we were even just a year ago with our ability to filter that information. But it has made the process of developing the lists and getting them out to committees more cumbersome. And that I have to do research for each individual act to find some of that information before adding it to the lists. The committees that have been covered so far, already talked about natural resources, energy and technology committees in both the House and Senate. Government operations committees have received their lists. You all received your list first last session. And the money committees have received their lists. And those were the largest volume of reports in an individual survey. I think that Senate Appropriations was the longest, and it was 60 plus individual reports that need to be reviewed. The process moving forward from here is things will move a little more quickly now that we've gotten through the big bites. And the deadline that has been set by your committee leadership for the other committees in the General Assembly to respond is January 23rd. So by January 23rd, committee chairs in the House and the Senate will have to have delivered their completed surveys. Otherwise, all of the reports that are due to those committees will be presumed to be unimportant and will be repealed. So there's a drop dead deadline. And if I haven't received their responses, then the first draft of the bill for the committee will repeal those reports. Or at minimum, remove that committee from the list of committees that received the report.
Representative Hango.
Quick question for clarification. So that will come to us in a bill form. The repeal isn't going to happen until we, as a legislature, passes that bill.
That is correct.
So there's going to be opportunity for each committee to say, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't know you were going to repeal the bills.
That's correct. And it has to go through the normal legislative process. So the committees will get multiple bites at the apple here, both in their own chamber, but as it passes through the other chamber, they'll have an opportunity to say, why is this being repealed? Don't we need this report?
Great. Thank you for your hard work, Tucker. I know how time consuming it's been for you.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And I'm sure this is exactly the sort of spicy testimony that you wanted for the first day, a nice invigorating shot on the first day of the session.
I actually prefer this over how we started last year.
That's a fair point. No, but I mean, it's like, we're doing work on government accountability in this fall swearing in. It is not like a bumper sticker type of policy, but it is important work to stay on top of the things that members in previous bienniums have put forward. And if there's unnecessary reports out there that are occupying time with, different agencies and departments and aspects of government that, need to be evaluated and maybe discontinued. I mean, it's not the glitziest accountability, but it's still accountability, right? Any other questions for Tucker on this one?
So next step, we'll have you in after the 23rd of January to give us an update on where we are and start drafting a committee bill.
Yes, so after the 23rd, we compile all of the surveys that have been returned into a single spreadsheet. It records what the votes were and what the final determination for that statutory provision is going to be, whether it's going to be made permanent, AKA exempted from reports repeal review, extended for 4 years, or Yep. And then we'll put it in a committee bill. And there you go. You all will direct where that bill goes and whether the reports persist in the future.
Okay, Representative Hooper?
This isn't about policy, I'm just about talking, how's your family?
Growing and,
We're taxpayers.
so, yeah,
That means there's a baby?
well, I would never discuss that on the record because there are AI systems that now
Oh.
record every single word that I say and turn it into newspaper articles that get published on Google. So I would never discuss anything like that. But yeah, the family is growing and happy.
Great.
Henrik is tall, too tall.
Surprise.
He can reach everything.
Well, whatever you get that from.
Who stole the cookies at?
Early session compliment, I walked in and immediately noticed that everybody has amazing shoe wear game in this committee.
Well.
That's an interesting.
Everyone's.
Everyone has fancy shoes, in my opinion. In my humble country lawyer opinion,
That's
This committee has-
Yeah.
fancy footwear.
MKK, that's for sure.
You know, it's on the record.
Well, I mean, that was the most glaring on the floor. Sorry, but first.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Thank you very much for having me in. If there are no other questions, I'm going to depart.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Tucker.
Thank you, Tucker.
Any other comment from the committee on this subject matter?
Yes, Representative Nugent has been really in charge of our reports. And I think I would suggest that if you're missing anything, which I think we might be, contact individuals offline and just see where we're at with those. But I think we might only be missing one or two. Or,
Are they all
I
day?
think so.
okay. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, but yes,
Nobody else. I'll take door number 2.
we have 90% compliance success rate. So folks that I need stuff from now would be great. If
Great.
you can check in, or if I missed it, I'm very sorry. If you could remind me when you sent me the information, I'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, that's basically it.
That'd be great. And if for some reason somebody didn't have time to work on it and just said, oh, let's keep it to the next round, and you'd like to revisit that, there still are a few days left to do that. So,
I'll send out the sheet again with them so everyone can see it.
great.
It's top of your inbox.
Representative Morgan? Yeah, so it sounds like I'm a deadbeat. I get it. That's fine.
Actually, I think you're caught up.
Am I the only 2 left?
No, I think you're caught up. And no,
Uh,
I believe so.
because I had a couple of things I thought that still had outstanding stuff to me, but you think, okay, I'll take that.
We can
I
have
raised
a
my hand. I thought I
conversation
was,
offline if you don't want to talk about it on the record.
oh, if I'm wrong and I did not get my JOB done, you can tell me that all day online. I don't care. I'm good.
No, I think
I just want to make sure. So
Defer to the spreadsheet.
we can talk it offline if you'd rather. I
Read the
mean, I don't care either way.
up to our leadership folks.
Please proceed.
Nope, I have notes from all of the reports that you've signed.
So you're
Yeah.
satisfied with?
Yeah.
Personally, okay.
I'll double
Good
check.
to hear. Thank you.
And thanks everybody for working on those. It wasn't the most exciting thing.
Mhm.
And I'm
Speak
sure
for
we'll
yourself.
hear from other, well, yeah, maybe Rep Nugent really enjoyed.
It's like organizing your closet.
And I think Rep Poppin and Rep Pincinel really enjoyed theirs too, because they jumped right into that. Yeah.
Wanted to be done with it.
Well, you got there. Okay, well, we're moving along at a brisk pace here, so if there's nothing else on this, we'll take a break until we have our next guests
Very soon.
coming in. Yes, so take us off until we reconvene.